Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video from Dead Meat, the kill count for Psycho from 1998. I believe this is the remake of Psycho, so let's hop in and see how many kills were remade onto the list.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm Chelsea Rebecca, and today we're taking a look at...
Chelsea, so you're the one doing the kill counting today. Huh, okay.
At Psycho. No, not that one. The remake from 1998. I have been activated like a sleeper agent. Psycho 98, as I affectionately refer to it, is Gus Van Sant's remake of Alfred Hitchcock's classic from 1960. But this isn't your usual remake or reboot or requel or even reimagining. It's the most one-to-one remake of a horror movie I've ever seen. In fact, it's often said to be a shot-for-shot recreation of the original, but that isn't quite...
Wow, almost 40 years later.
True. Van Sant does sprinkle some differences in. In fact, one person cataloged over 100. From the pattern on the shower curtain to the model of car Marion trades her old one in for. Still, the movie is mostly the same, even reusing Bernard Herrmann's score and Joseph Stefano's screenplay. Some minor changes were made by Stefano himself, mostly updating dialogue to be a bit more modern.
You see, if it doesn't gel, it isn't aspic.
If it don't gel, it ain't Jello.
Despite not being exactly
if it don't gel, it ain't Jello.
shot for shot, Van Sant did use stills from the original as storyboards and rewatched scenes before shooting them. Because of all the similarities, this kill count will assume a familiarity with the original. I recommend you watch the first one's kill count if you haven't. And yes, we thought about just having me use James's exact script. You are very, very clever for thinking that. Now go delete whatever comment you were absolutely typing just now. The making of Psycho 98 fascinates me. It's been a running joke on the podcast since pretty much the beginning. We even covered it for the 100th episode milestone.
But it was nice, not feeling the pressure of 100 episodes because I already knew what we were going to do. It was like, we're doing the Psycho remake.
And this version of Norman Bates was an entrant in the first ever Horror Royal Rumble. Van Sant had actually pitched this idea in 1989, after the success of his indie film Drugstore Cowboy. Universal said no, but 8 years later, Van Sant made Good Will Hunting. Its box office success and Oscar wins gave him the goodwill to ask again. And this time, they said yes.
All of a sudden, that idea had merit. You know, they thought it was a great idea because Good Will Hunting was making money.
The announcement was met with derision and confusion from the film community and general public.
They're going to get crucified.
Why wouldn't they want to redo that one?
If people want to see a Hitchcock film, then they should go back and watch the original Psycho.
But honestly, I think this was incredibly ahead of its time. Near shot-for-shot remakes of beloved properties because studios are terrified of taking chances on anything new. That's half of Disney's entire business model nowadays, and we all eat it up like...
I'm sorry, they're making a live-action Moana? How long ago did the actual Moana come out? I just looked it up. It's only been 10 years since the original Moana was released. And now they're already making a live-action remake? Come on! These guys waited almost 40 years before even attempting a remake.
The little piggies, the studios know we are. Everyone gives this movie shit, but this is what we like now, apparently. And you know what? Despite its weirdness and redundancy, Psycho 98 is honestly better than the original. I'm kidding. I can't take the bit that far. I mean, Psycho is Psycho, and this is something wearing Psycho as a skin suit. That's not unintentional, though. Gus Van Sant was shocked that Psycho was even offered to him as a possible film to remake. And he approached this as an, I kinda just wanted to see what would happen project, expecting backlash from the beginning.
Throwing shit at the wall.
It's basically a very expensive film school experiment, and it feels like it, especially in the performances. The cast always seems like they're saying someone else's lines, since they are. Van Sant once compared it to a Broadway show, swapping out the cast but not the script or staging. So between the reason it was made and its extremely 90s costuming, coloring, and styling laid on top of a very late 1950s sounding script, I do love this movie. I'm not the only one fascinated with it either. Filmmaker Steven Soderbergh went on to splice it together with the original in a project he called Psychos. It's a truly unique piece of film history, and I'm honored to cover it here on the Kill Count. Did this near shot-for-shot remake go kill for kill too? Let's find out.
Chelsea!
Oh,
dude,
Puppet James.
This is urgent. I'm not the Puppet James you know. I'm from the future. And I need you to help me save the future by making sure past me goes to therapy with the help of today's sponsor, ZocDoc.
How many kills will Van Sant shower us with? Well, we kind of know already, but this time they're in color, so let's get to them.
Huh. So I guess this literally could just be a whole thing of go back and watch the original kill count if you haven't.
The movie begins the same as the original. Same date and time and everything. Get ready, there's gonna be a lot of that. But even if everything looks the same so far, it doesn't have to sound the same. You can hear people fucking. Looks like the perfect place for Marion Crane to have a lunch break affair with Sam Loomis. They don't even have to worry about being caught either. All of Phoenix is...
So, did anyone else see that scar on, like, his right shoulder, though? Oh, huh. Weird.
Seemingly abandoned. Or everyone's at the movies seeing Psycho 1998. Marion's tired of sneaking around, but Sam can't afford to marry her until he pays off his debts. He's got Eastern promises to keep. Kinda sad she's waiting around for him, but I'm not playing the blame Crane game. No woman could resist that bare butt. Hitchcock broke a lot of Hays Code rules in his original, but not the one about showing cheeks. Marion suits up in a shade of pink that I think looks so good on her, I don't have a joke for that, and heads back to her job as a secretary at a real estate brokerage. She passes by director Gus Van Sant in a cameo, getting scolded by a Hitchcock look-alike in the same spot Hitchcock was standing in back in 1960.
Oh, I love that. That's a good call-out.
She chats with her co-worker who was played by Hitchcock's daughter, Pat, in the original. Pat was still around when this remake was made and actually endorsed it.
The way I feel about it is I'm very flattered, you know, and I know my father would be flattered.
Still, this scene, out of every scene in this movie, feels the most like people LARPing the early 60s. It's like we're seeing an alternate timeline where the late 60s never happened, and cultural mores and the way people talk just kind of frozen time.
My mother's doctor gave these to me on the day of my wedding.
There was kind of an episode like that in Inside Job, where a whole town was accidentally coated in some kind of gas that caused a nostalgia.
Teddy was furious when he found out I'd taken tranquilizers.
Marion's boss walks in with big britches businessman Tom Cassidy. He's buying a house on behalf of his daughter, and since he's so big and businessy, he's doing it with cash.
$400,000 cash.
The amount is updated from $40,000 in the original. Van Sant had to adjust for inflation. Cassidy hits on Marion and tells her they could have a good time in Las Vegas.
Playground of the world.
What pleasures await Marion in 1998 Las Vegas? Escape to outer space at the Star Trek Experience at the Hilton. Catch Rodney Dangerfield at the MGM Grand Hollywood Theater and give him some respect. Dive under
No respect, I tell ya.
the sea in Race for Atlantis, the exciting new IMAX 3D ride at Caesar's Palace. All this and more back when Vegas was affordable and fun. Marion's told to take the cash directly to the bank, but Sam's debt problems have her eyeing it like it's the One Ring.
My precious.
She takes the money to start a new life with him in his hometown of the fictional Fairvale, California. This Marion is played by the late Anne Hesh, last seen on the kill count in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Her Sam Loomis, nope, not that one, is played by Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Viggo Mortensen.
Oh shit, okay, that's kind of awesome.
It's known, of course, from Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. On her way there, in an ill-advised vermilion dress, Marion sees Tom Cassidy and her boss headed to a beige suit convention. Boss man catches her eye, setting off an internal panic externalized by the classic Psycho theme. Psycho 98 reuses Bernard Herrmann's original score, with a new arrangement done by Danny Elfman and Steve Bartek. It's mostly the same, but a little faster, which is true for a lot of the film's elements, including its performances and editing.
Cut it together the way they originally had it, and then you kind of look at it and go, kind of slow.
It's one of the reasons the remake clocks in at 6 minutes shorter than the original, even with all the jerking off added in. Marion hits up all the classic stops on her Psycho road trip. She falls asleep, gets woken up by Lord Raiden, or General Shaw from Welcome to Derry, whichever you prefer, and tries to shake him off by trading her car in for a new one with not Bill Paxton over here.
First time I ever saw the customer high pressure the salesman.
Love that Psycho highlights the evolution of the used car salesman species. By the late 90s, we're in the Stannis, Stansman, Danny DeVito, and Matilda era. Gus Van Sant let his actors choose how closely they wanted to emulate the original performances. Some of them went for pure imitation.
I don't want it to be any different.
You want it to be exactly the same?
Yes!
while others
Okay,
tried
fine.
something new. The car dealer
that.
gets a new interpretation from James LeGros, who hasn't been on the kill count yet, but you'll probably see him on the podcast this year because he's replacement Mike in Phantasm 2. Conversely,
Oh.
Chad Everett plays Tom Cassidy just like Frank Albertson did in the original, down to the physical mannerisms and everything, and it very much feels like mimicry. Marion's paranoia begins to get the best of her, and she starts to imagine what people will think of her thieving.
A girl works for you for 10 years, you trust her. It must be some kind of a mystery. I can't.
You checked with the bank, no? They never laid eyes on her, no? You still trust him?
Although she does end up looking a little smug when she thinks about Tom Cassidy, that lecherous son of a bitch. Her drive becomes more treacherous thanks to a sudden downpour, which was done the old-fashioned
Sudden
way.
rain!
Rear projection screens, rain machines, and lights on wheels imitating headlights. Love to see it. She has to pull over at, surprise, surprise, the Bates Motel. And wow, this version of the Bates Motel sign might as well say, "Come do your drugs here." Is that Toomey guy already working here? She tries to check in, but the only thing moving around is a scary lady in the upstairs window. She lays on the horn, summoning this movie's version of Norman Bates. He's played by Vince Vaughn, who's been on the kill count in Freaky and The Lost World Jurassic Park. In contrast to
okay, that's
Anthony
kinda
Perkins' boyish awkwardness, Vaughn is way more of an outright weirdo.
Yeah, and plus, he does not have the hair to be doing a Norman Bates. Look, nothing against the guy, nothing against the actor, but the hair. It doesn't have the same kind of poofy feeling like Norman's did.
It was an intentional choice.
And I'm forgetting the actor's actual name. I'm sorry. Y'all know by this point, by this many videos, I'm bad with names.
At this point, in 1998, everyone knows the big twist. So Van Sant chose to have Norman come across as off-putting from the start.
12 cabins, 12 vacancies.
Still has the same motel menu, though.
Sandwiches and milk.
This meal grosses me out in the original, and it grosses me out even more here, in glorious color. Marion unpacks in her room and kind of gleefully figures out where to hide her stolen cash. She's being very coy about it, looking like she's playing the Bates Motel escape room. Gotta make sure all those items aren't glued down first. She overhears an argument coming from the house, with Norman's mother yelling at him for fraternizing with the opposite sex. In this version, though, their volume is much more realistic.
Sorry, what was that?
In the cheap erotic fashion of young men with cheap erotic minds.
Norman seemingly ignores
good
his
echo, at
mother
least.
and returns with Marion's gourmet meal.
Sandwiches
This is
and
food
milk.
that early
And
Survivor
fruit.
Jeff
Oh.
Probst bribed contestants with when they were like days away from being medevaced. They were so hungry. He brings her into the office parlor to eat, which is stuffed, pun intended, with taxidermy birds. Wait, is that owl the same one from the original? Or is that just
Oh,
how
if it is, that is awesome.
taxidermied owls usually look? How much stuff was reused from the original? Would Universal have even saved any of that stuff?
Is the
I don't know.
original shower still, curtain still somewhere?
It's sort of a fantasy that everything from a movie is in some closet somewhere.
Oh, question asked, question answered. Norman
So
sits
wait, it actually is, but they just keep some things in a closet? Huh. Mad respect.
in the food cuck chair and watches Marion eat as they make the usual polite dinner conversation. You know, how's your mother? Why is she so mean to you? How'd your stepdad mysteriously die?
I guess it's nothing you should be talking about when you're eating.
Yeah, better stick to the stuff that's tried and true.
The boy's best friend's his mother.
There you go. There is some new dialogue in this scene that shades in the characters a little more, but it's stuff that the original version was able to convey through acting. And Vince and Anne just aren't Tony and Janet, but like, who could be?
If there's a role in all of film that you just can't duplicate, it's Norman Bates by Anthony.
Everybody wants to see
It's
him.
like somebody else playing
That's
Citizen
the
Kane
that's
other than
the
Orson
actor,
Welles.
yes.
This scene in the original is one of the best acted scenes in all of horror, in my opinion. Vaughn's Norman is at his best when he's being shy and awkward, which you don't normally see him do unless he's playing a teenage girl. It's kind of adorable. His Norman is perkier than Perkins too, and gets more openly aggressive when Marion suggests he put his mother in a home.
I didn't mean to sound uncaring.
What do you know about caring? Have you ever seen the inside of one of those places? The laughing and the tears and the cruel eyes studying you?
I think Vince really settles into the character by the end of this monologue. His "we all go a little mad sometimes" and "thank you, Norman" are done so differently from the original, and he feels genuinely dangerous here.
Thank you, Norman.
Vaughn was only 28 while filming, the same age as Perkins in the original. And
Oh.
it's clear from behind-the-scenes footage just how nervous he was to do this.
Are you getting me at all? Or am I like a weird kid that you're studying behind the glass?
I love watching him try to pick out a hairstyle. It's like Van Santis' dad taking him to Supercuts.
Should we go all the way, Paul?
That wouldn't work.
The conversation with Norman reveals a life so...
I would have tried my damnedest to try to get a hairstyle close to what Anthony had when he was playing Norman.
sad, it literally convinces Marion to head back home and return the money. She gets ready for bed, giving Norman the chance to peep at her through the hole in the adjacent office wall. It also gives Van Sant the chance to make what's probably the most infamous change from the original, having Norman masturbates all over the office wall. Before I ever saw Psycho 98, I was convinced that this was the only difference. I don't know, I feel like a friend in high school or something told me it was. He heads back to the house to play with his apple while Marion calculates how much money she'll owe her boss when she gets home. She flushes her math down the toilet and decides to take a nice relaxing shower to wash off the day's events. She doesn't get to enjoy it for very long before a figure approaches her from behind. They're a little harder to see through the new patterned curtain that makes me very nostalgic, but a little plastic never stopped a shower stabbing. Marion is sliced and diced, sending real fake blood swirling down the drain. No chocolate syrup here. Most of the shots and angles from the 1960 scene are obsessively recreated here.
It's totally the same. It's totally the same.
That is, until it's an Enya video for 2 seconds. And this wasn't the first time Van Sant recreated this scene. He shot a fake commercial in 1979 called Psycho Shampoo as part of a live comedy show in LA.
Honey, I'm all out of my dandruff shampoo. Can I borrow some of yours?
I'm all out too, honey, but try this.
Shooting this scene in the 90s gave them a lot more leeway with violence and nudity compared to the late Hays Code era of the original. Hitchcock really tested the censors with his version, but still had to tastefully edit around Marion's body. Van Sant lingers a little more, especially on the overhead shot of Hesh falling over the tub, where you can notoriously see a little hole.
You see her butthole.
You see her butthole. I don't know how else to say it. You see Anne Hesh's butthole.
He also got to do something Hitchcock couldn't
say it like
in the
that.
original. Have one single unbroken long take that goes from Marion's eye through her motel room and ultimately lands on the Bates house. Hitchcock tried, but had to insert a shot of the shower head because Janet Leigh couldn't hold her breath for that long. Similarly, Van Sant was also able to shoot the opening the way Hitchcock wanted to, as one continuous helicopter shot. The original had to scrap the idea and replace it with multiple shots that pan and dissolve to each other, but in the 90s it was smooth sailing on those choppers.
At the time, I think the technology was just very, very early, and today it's like something that's pretty common. We just sort of did what they said they were planning to do.
The killer retreats to the house on the hill, where Norman plays a 90s remix of his favorite track.
Mother, what have you done?
He sprints down to the motel to survey the damage, looking like he's competing in a cheese rolling race. Even something as simple as coming down the stairs was tirelessly compared to the original by Van Sant.
You see how he's kind of like jogging? Did you see that? Watch this right here. Watch what he does right here, Vince. Watch. He's bouncing.
But how come this has turned into an Olympics versus me and Anthony?
You don't have to
come
run
on,
now.
guys.
I'm gonna run.
Norman is shocked to find a bloody crime scene in Cabin 1, but it doesn't stop him from turning the room over for another guest. I think this scene is
wouldn't your accents be the never mind.
where the move to color really gets to shine. I just love how blown out and cold this bathroom is. It's great work from cinematographer Christopher Doyle, a frequent collaborator of Wong Kar-wai, who also shot In the Mood for Love and Chungking Express. Norman bundles up Marion and, unknowingly, the stolen cash into her car's trunk, then sinks it into a nearby swamp while he has himself a tasty little snack.
And there goes 400 grand.
Nearby in Fairvale,
I know she used some, but shut up.
Sam writes his dead lover a legitimately sweet letter. It's the same letter as the originals, but since this one's not in cursive, I can actually read it in less than 4 seconds. He's in the back of his hardware store while the front is being manned by the fuck, Flea?
I believe
insect or man, death should always be painless.
Before this old lady can fucking murder Flea in cold blood, Marion's sister Lila Crane walks in through the door. This version of her is played by Julianne Moore, who we've seen before taking over another role as Clarice in Hannibal. Her performance as Lila probably differs the most from the original.
Because there's no character there, virtually.
Right. Moore wanted to play the character as more aggressive, contrasting with the more straight-cut performance from Vera Miles.
I don't care. It's none of my business. But I want to talk to Marion, and I want her to tell me it's none of my business, and then I'll go.
Lila hasn't heard from Marion in days, so she's tracked down Sam to go look for her. She's not the only one either. Hot on her tail is Detective Argabast, a PI looking for Marion on behalf of her boss and Tom Cassidy's cash. Since she's not here, he'll have to go a little further. So he montages his way through town talking to people. This is played by William H. Macy.
Oh, there we go, the name. Yeah, that would be like Albogest. So Albogest.
Not one of those faces where you just see a mustache on it even when he doesn't have one. Unlike Moore, Macy chose to adhere as closely as possible to the original's performance by Martin Balsam.
She's not back there with the nuts and bolts, but she's here in this town.
Imitation or not, he's really good at this, but like, yeah, no shit. He winds up at the Bates Motel, where Norman's one chain necklace and a fanny pack away from a perfect cosplay.
Oh my god, I was just about to say that. He looks like he's trying to crossplay The Rock.
Play of The Rock.
Holy
he tries
crap.
to play it cool, but it's not long before starts to smell what Norman Bates is cooking. To make matters worse, he recognizes Marion's handwriting in the guest book and the alias she used, inspired by her boyfriend Sam. Caught in a lie, Norman is forced to admit that Marion did make a stop at the motel. He doesn't do a great job answering Arby's $5 roast beef's questions.
After she left, she didn't come back.
Why would she?
Conversation turns to Norman's mother and he shuts down completely. Arby Sauce wants to question her, but Norman tells him the spooky house on the hill is strictly off limits. Just like Belle in the Forbidden West Wing, Arby's beef and cheddar ignores the order.
Which is quite literally say it's private property. And technically, yes, it would be private property. He would not be able to enter unless he had a warrant. Oh, wait. Would that not matter?
And decides to poke around anyway. By the way, the Blu-ray rip that we made that I was watching got fucked up somehow, and one of the sound channels started to drift at some point and got out of sync with the movie. So the Psycho theme started playing around this part and scared the shit out of me.
Unfortunately, he wouldn't let me see her.
Ooh!
Well, I was. I think I'll go back to the motel first.
Inside, Marion takes a glance at the nun-killing Cupid statue, then tries to find the lady of the house. And find her he does. He's slashed in the face and takes a wacky waving tumble down the stairs. Then he's repeatedly stabbed to death by a weirdly bloodless knife. I kind of love that they recreated this effect wholesale. Just look at Macy flailing around in front of that green screen. He loves it. But once again, Van Sant's subliminal messaging leaves me with more questions than answers.
Ah, the eye. What the hell? Ah, not again. A cow. Oh, why in the face a third time?
Life flashing before his eyes like a cow in a horny home movie. It's very Videodrome, and I don't know, maybe someone should look into it. Lila gets worried when she doesn't hear back from Arby's two-piece peach cobbler roll, so Sam hits the road and checks things out for himself. When he gets to the Bates Motel, it's seemingly vacant of both owner and detective, but if he wanted to, Sam could find both of them down by the swamp. Or in the swamp, in Arbogast's case. I'm using his real name now, okay? He's dead, have some fucking respect. With their PI MIA, Sam and Lila decide to get the sheriff involved. He's played here by the late Philip Baker Hall, frequent Paul Thomas Anderson collaborator. For some reason, this poster of his face hung on the wall of our apartment bathroom for years. Why was that again?
Yeah, James, why did you have a picture of this man in your bathroom?
Oh, I don't even remember where it came from.
Lila and Sam mentioned Norman's mother, so the sheriff calls up Norman to get his side of the story.
Well, this detective was there. Norman told him about the girl. The detective thanked him, went away.
That's more believable to him than whatever nonsense these two are saying, since Mrs. Bates can't exactly be a suspect.
Norman Bates' mother has been dead and buried in Green Lawn Cemetery for the past 10 years.
Wait, so,
10 years.
Is it her, though? Well, whoever is in that house. We'll pretend like we all don't know, I guess. The call spooks Norman into moving her from her bedroom. Not that she's grateful about it.
Put me down, and I'll walk on my own.
Not with those scarecrow legs, you won't. The remake's Norma Bates is voiced by by an uncredited Rosemary, who was starring in the Dick Van Dyke Show the same decade the original came out. Sam and Lila show up at the motel asking for a room and posing as a married couple. Lila's convinced Norman killed her sister.
I would have said newlyweds.
So that he could take the cash and escape the monotony of motel life. Not like she doesn't know him well either. Vaughn and Moore shared the screen just 1 year earlier in The Lost World Jurassic Park. And then 4 years later, William H. Macy would appear in Jurassic Park 3. Sam and Lila sneak into cabin 1 and peek inside that heavenly bathroom, where they find a scrap of math but not much else. So Sam acts as a Norman distraction while Lila looks for more clues. She heads up to the Bates house and lets herself inside. I know it's just the color of the sky, but every time someone goes through this front door, it looks like they forgot to key out the blue screen. Psycho 98 was shot on the Universal lot in Los Angeles, just like the original, but they updated the aging motel set to the current day, with the new sign lampshading the renovation. However, for the Bates house, production decided to build a completely new facade directly in front of the old set.
Wait,
you're changing it.
Why? No, seriously, why?
We're changing the house.
Gee.
I guess that makes the set deck I have back there technically inaccurate, but it's not like anyone is selling models of the Psycho 98 Bates house. If you make one, I'll buy it. Inside the house, Lila finds several objects from the 60s film, like a pair of hands and a jump scare. Also, shout out to Julianne Moore's zigzag part, very 90s. I had this exact hairstyle and cut. She rifles through Norman's room, where his Arrested Development is stressed way more than in the original. There's even the sound of a young boy laughing in the background on the soundtrack. Maybe he's titillated by what else she finds, cause it's Nudie Magazine!
Oh, look at that.
Just wanted to remind you that this Norman is constantly jorking it. Norman is currently trapped with Sam in awkward bro time, but he gets tired of the conversation and cuts short with a golf club. Lila spots Norman bounding towards her, so she heads downstairs into the house's fruit cellar. It mostly looks familiar, except this one comes with a man cave. Do not touch anything.
Man cave? No, more like a taxidermy cave. Nope, that was kind of a mouthful.
Thing in there. She finds Mother's extra gross corpse with bugs crawling in and around her face, thanks to a prosthetic made by Rick Baker. But James says she's still too skelly to put on the kill count. Norman rushes in, revealing himself to have been Mother this whole time for like the 3 people watching who didn't know. And she's a hot blonde.
Oh, yeah, no, hold on. Let me go ahead and react. Oh, you mean it was him the whole time?
This time. He zooms toward Lila with a knife, but a recovered Sam arrives to tackle him to the ground. Lila joins the boogie fight and kicks Norman in the face, allowing them to subdue the motel murderer. Norman's taken to the local courthouse where he's questioned by a psychiatrist played by Robert Forster, who's in a ton of stuff, but I always associate him with Jackie Brown and that one clip from the Eric Andre show.
Get that unshaved, unprotected sex.
What kind of a show is this?
He looks just like the other guy, but is a big improvement, if only because he shows some basic decency to Lila.
Did he kill my sister?
Yes. Sorry.
Wow. Even threw in an I'm sorry. Yes. Way better than this future Arkham inmate in the original.
Did he kill my sister?
Yes. And no.
He explains that after his father died, Norman was left taking care of his mother. But when she found a new man, he didn't feel fabulous. He felt betrayed. So he poisoned them both, stole his mother's body, and preserved it like one of his taxidermied birds. Keeping your mom's corpse in your house isn't exactly good for the soul, so Norman eventually snapped, developing a split personality. It was his mother half that came to the surface when he rubbed one out to Marion, leading to his killing spree.
Stop mentioning it.
He tried to be his mother. And now he is.
We check back in with Norman, who's been fully taken over by his Norma persona.
They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say why she wouldn't even harm a fly.
The movie ends the same way as the original, with a car getting dredged out of the swamp. Except this time, the shot goes on for way longer and even plays beneath the closing credits. Daring today, aren't we, Gus? How many guests checked out of their lives at the Bates Motel?
Well,
let's find out and get to the numbers.
Chelsea!
Yes, Mother?
Let me do the numbers.
Of course, Mother.
And now it's gonna be James dressed as Chelsea, isn't it? Oh, no. It's Chelsea in the original fit. Okay. I think it would have been funnier if it was James dressed up to look like Chelsea. Like, I can't be the only one that thinks that would have actually been a hell of a lot funnier. It's a shame, but okay.
We counted 2 kills in Psycho 98, same as the original.
Oh,
Surprise,
right, only
surprise. The victims consisted of 1 man and 1 woman, giving us this pie chart cut in half just like a sandwich you could serve with milk.
Oh,
With a
stop
runtime of
that.
103 minutes, we had a kill on average every 51.5 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Marion Crane. Even if
Yeah,
it's not as
I can
artful
see
as
why.
the original, it's still the Psycho shower kill, just with hole. And just like in the original's kill
Stop
count,
that.
I won't give a dull machete for lamest kill because our biggest got some extra slices in. He's got the meats. And that's it. Gus
Okay.
Van Sant's Psycho came out in 1998 and pissed off people even more than Van Sant had expected.
This is about just doing it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, it doesn't matter if they kill me. And then later when I got killed, it hurt.
He later said the project didn't really work and that he didn't learn anything from doing it, but that at least it exists as a failed experiment for weirdos like me to discuss. Next week.
So I guess that's it then. We're finally done with all of Psycho. Well, hopefully.
James returns to hosting duties with an episode so secret we're not even doing a trailer for it. Until I see you again, I'm Chelsea Rebecca. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks for watching the...
Well, you heard them. They're not doing a trailer, so we have no idea what they're doing next week. Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.